already.
Because I can deal with the specific public.
Hey, we are live. Hello, hello,
And I like my
hello.
boss. What kind?
Yeah.
This at least I know what to do. So I listen to 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Of that form.
Hello, Dr. Shegun. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Yeah. So it's hello everyone. You can hear me. It's MSME Talks again, day 24. Wow. Woo. How time flies. So today we have money on the table. Like I said, Dr. Shegun, I hope you brought plenty money for us.
Well, it's about idea. Money follow idea.
It's about idea.
Yes, if the idea is good,
Okay,
money will
great.
follow.
So today we are going to be talking about
Money
funding your
follow.
small
Money
business.
will follow idea.
Money will follow. Awesome. So we're talking about funding your small. That's great to know. So today we're talking about your small business. So I can see some eyeballs. You may just want to chat me up, send a comment so I know you can hear me. Can you hear me? Dr. Shegun, I know you can hear me.
I can hear you
So
clearly.
just to be sure that. Awesome. Great. Okay. So my first question is talking about, we are going to go to town today. I've been trying to adjust this my camera. Okay. So we're going to town today and we are trying to see where the money is. So I just want us to start by even saying that you have been playing in the MSME space. So I want you to give us your general overview before we go deep into the specifics. Tell me about your general experience working with the small businesses and funding.
All right. It's a good question.
Can you hear me? Yeah.
I can hear you clearly.
Yeah. Evening.
I'm trying to make sure that
Yeah.
I'm on.
I can see parts of your face.
Yeah, I'm wondering
That
why
we can see you very well.
I'm looking for.
Just try to adjust your position to the.
This is
Yeah,
better
this
this
is
way, right?
better.
All right. So
Yes. We can see your full face.
SME journey. I started that say 2007. Before then, I think I used to lecture students at the Faith Foundation and a couple of other work with other consultants. And at every time I lecture at Faith Foundation, one of the questions one question that was very consistent, because I was lecturing on financing, business strategy, and business planning, was how do we get this money? You make it simple for us. I mean, you make it look so easy, but how do we get this money? So that question got me thinking, and then that led me to start a business at that time. So that business started in 2007, where I started providing some financing with my own resources to small businesses, some of which came out of Faith Foundation at that time. So that's how my journey with SME started, largely. And then since then, I've been on with it. Yeah. So it's basically an hands-on experience working with entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs, to support their businesses. And also with that, bringing guidance as to what is required to get the business stable. So that's how my experience, direct and hands-on relationship with small businesses kicked off. I hope that helps.
Yeah, that helps. So another overview question. I'm trying to lay a foundation. And by the way, we're going to have just a short discussion, about 30 minutes. Okay, I'm actually in transit, so we'll try and make the best of our 30 minutes. Can I have more lights, please? Okay, so the next question I would like to ask you, just to give a background, will be based on your experience. Do you think so? I posted something in the morning, and the report of the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics, 2017 report with Smith, and the report shows that MSMEs find it difficult, and that most of what they said, and that's like most reports we see anyway, to attract funding. Okay. And if you look at even the percentage of people that access funding and what they start with. So if you would talk generally, so when I talk sources of funds, how to start your business, we would be saying friends and family, go to the bank. So if you look at funding from your experience, what would you recommend at different stages of business for the kind of funding that MSMEs might be looking for or at?
Well, for a business to start, the first thing you need for a small business is first your sweat. So it means that your passion around the business must be driven by knowledge. Most SMEs that I've come across, and I tell you, trust me, I've come across tons and tons of them. Some have had to let pass, and some have been involved in. But what I'll tell you is that most of them have passion, but they lack knowledge about what they want to do. There are those categories. So the first thing is that the passion should be backed with the knowledge of that business, very strong knowledge, because that's where the real thing starts from. So that's what is really called the sweat. So you know how to put the sweat into the business. Secondly, the capability to be able to put that idea together in a way that is presentable and attractive to both to sight and to hearing. So how do you create what I would call talkability? Around that business. Yes, around that business. What talkability is, what makes that business attractive to hear, so that the person hearing it wants to go talking about it everywhere.
Talkability.
So when you create talkability for your business, it becomes attractive and people want to participate in it. So that's the second thing. And those are the content of sweat. So most SMEs have passion. Most promoters of SMEs have passion about that thing they love to do, but a lot of them don't have sufficient knowledge. Thirdly, they don't have capacity to drive talkability to the point that it creates attractiveness for that business, whether to the buyers of that solution or whatever they are selling, or to an investor. So that's very important. So you need to be able to put it in a way that is attractive for people to see and then acquire the language of the business. So once that is done, then the last one is isolate the values of that business. Why is it that this business is the right business? You see, some other entrepreneurs I've seen, they have passion about the business they want to do, but when you grill them, you find that they want to produce for themselves, not for the market. They have an over-bloated idea of what they want to do, to the extent that they think it will be sold and everybody will buy it. So some of them don't have enough knowledge about the market, and that's why a lot of companies also fail, because by the time they get to the end of the tape, they actually find, when they start producing, they find out that they are not selling as they thought they would sell. And then that becomes a problem, because it's like they produce for themselves, not for the people that will buy. So it's important that you understand who are your buyers, what are the buyer values, and how do you sell to them. Some people want to buy new things the old way, some people want to buy old things the new way. So you need to be able to know, how do you sell to this category of buyers that you are facing. So all this thing, when you talk about sweat equity, that is the whole gamut of what sweat equity is. But a lot of these four things I've given you, a lot of SMEs don't have them. They just tell you, I've been working, I've put my sweat, and ask them, what is sweat? What is this your sweat equity? They can't tell you. You just say, I have been working on it for the past 50 years. I have been working day and night. What what is the concrete thing that is coming out that I can score as your contribution to the business other than just working and working? So when you are asking people what is sweat equity, that is sweat equity. Your ability to to carry your passion with knowledge, create value and talkability,
Knowledge,
and understand how to
talkability.
sell to buyers, understand buyer value, and sell to buyers in the way they want to buy. Sell to those that want to buy new things the old way, and those that want to buy old things the new way.
Okay. Interesting. So I love the talkability part, and that's a new one. So and I'm already thinking talkability for business. So maybe you should dwell more on that talkability for business, because a lot of times people want to pitch for their business and they don't attract funding. What is the combo
Yeah.
of this talkability?
All right, I'll just take you through it. So talkability basically is what you call when you talk about when you want to develop a brand, okay, or you are coming up with a product. The way the product becomes attractive to people is about the more they talk about it. Now, let me give you, and I'll use the Christian, I'm a Christian, so I'm going to use the Christian way to help you understand it. So we go out for evangelism. So if you go out for evangelism and you talk to people about Christ and you talk to them about your church, every church will talk about Christ. Why is it that certain people go to certain churches more than the other?
Why? Talkability?
It is that drive of talkability, because the talkability helps you to see the value, and it
So
creates
how
a mind map that sometimes when you don't intend to even go to the church, you find yourself on the way to that church, because everywhere you turn, people are talking about that church. The same way you want to
so
buy
how
a
do we
product.
create talkability for our business?
Great. So the way you create, I'll give you a few steps. The first thing about creating talkability about your business is, like I said before, you must know the business. Secondly, understand the value of what you are producing or about to sell. And thirdly, know the people that will buy and how they will buy, and then create something that makes attraction for that business. What is that thing that will make attraction for that business? So, for example, we'll get used to watching adverts. Why do we watch adverts? Some adverts make you buy things, some don't make you buy them. The strength of any advert is the talkability they generate. What makes everybody to talk about it? Because they sell you the value in a way that is in alignment to your living condition, to your value desire, to your environment, to your network and relationship and lifestyle. So they sell you that product, so everybody starts to talk about that thing. And once the more people talk about it, which is personal, person to person, which is the strongest way to sell, more people talk about it from household to household, from person to person, from friends to friends. When people go out and they have light out amongst themselves as friends, you find that people want to drink a particular kind of liquor. Why do they go for that liquor and not the other one? It is, some people don't even know anything about that liquor they are drinking. They are only following talkability. Most people just say, ask somebody, why do you like to drink NSC? They don't have any reason. It's just because people talk about NSC and they just find them drinking it. They just join them to drink it.
Okay.
The same way
So you
people
should,
that drink, what's that thing? All these things people drink around them, all these bitters, all these bitters.
yes. They said it
So
cleanses the
people,
system.
it is because, who told you that? It is talkability that generated that. Because it was being talked about. Yeah, if you drink it, this, that. Some people drink this thing and they injure themselves. But because there is so much talk, so it drives where you spend your money. And
I
once
see.
people start to spend their money on a product, it automatically attracts investors' attention.
attention. So what we are
Yeah.
saying here, and that's to address Tim. Tim says, whilst I agree with you, uh, the talkability idea, I believe the product itself is also a key point. While talkability may open the door, the product quality. I think you've addressed that, or maybe because you didn't. So, Tim, we are laying the ground for sweat equity, not even how to even generate attention. If your quality is good and you're not generating attention, nobody will even buy. So, what we're saying is, as part of when you start out with your sweat equity, generate talkability. Yes, make your products good, quality, which you already addressed. Okay, so just to address Team Adeyemi's point. Okay, so the next one we will now move to. So we've seen talkability creates value, and you're trying to lay a foundation for how do we even generate interest for people to show interest, because even investors wants to be sure that that product people are going to buy it, and that's the point of the talkability you are talking about. If the quality is good and we're not sure there's a market, you might have a problem. So let's take it to where the money is. A lot of times when I see a lot of small business, when I sit in my BDSP corner and they come for funding, what I see a lot of them ask for more is a loan. Okay, a few people usually talk about equity. Okay, and sometimes when they talk about equity, maybe it's me, and maybe I'm even one of them. Don't laugh at me, oh, Dr. Akonji. You know when I say maybe I'm even one of them. So, what is our issue with equity loan? And that was where I was trying to drive at the beginning, that at different stages of business, we need different kinds of funding. Because if you get a wrong funding for a particular stage of your business, you are going to kill the business. And I see a lot of funding mismatch when people will go and take short-term funds, expensive monies for assets funding, and that creates a big problem. So from your experience, I really want you to take us through your field experience with MSMEs, the kind of fundings they attract. Then I will now drill it to equity, which is a place I'm really interested in. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Can I just go back and help Tim a bit? So, Tim,
Okay,
I'm just
it's
going to use
fine.
the one word to help you. You see, there is a word that said the taste of the pudding is in the eating. But before people eat about it, eat that whatever, somebody has to introduce them to it. If you are poorly packaged, there are very many great products that they don't sell. You get to ShopRite. I have an e-commerce solution, and we provide solution to products to them. And there are products that are great, but badly packaged. They don't generate talkability. They don't generate anything that makes people to go to the shelf. But they are great products. Great products. Yet ShopRite returns them because they have a return policy. If people don't buy your product, they will return it to you. They suffer. Those guys suffer everything. So we have to help them on how to do that. So we call something promoters. We call them top promoters to help those business owners. So we create talkability for that product, and then people start to buy that same product. So we get young guys, we clothe them, they go to make some noise about the product, and before you know, the same product that's not selling before, people start to buy them. Just because we gather some young people and we create an environment of conversation around the product. Okay, that's right.
Interesting.
So I'll go to this
All right.
very important question that you have raised. You see,
On funding.
a lot of business owners, young entrepreneurs, the challenge they have is that first, they want to own 100% the business. It's always a struggle for a young entrepreneur. It's looking like somebody wants to come and steal. They want your money, but they also feel you want to steal their business. So I've gone through that, and I've counseled, I can't even count the number of entrepreneurs, even till yesterday. So I counsel, a number of them come to me every day. I get calls, I talk and take them through. And some of them are getting used to that now. So, because, and I think what is also helping is that there is a lot of talking about investment, particularly now, the tech, the fintechs and the digital aligned businesses that are selling their equity So it's beginning to generate interest for other type of entrepreneurs to now sell, unlike before when it was so difficult. So in terms of that, there is no reason to be afraid to sell your business. There are basic things you want to check out. First is ask yourself, whoever you are talking to, first, are you ready? Are you ready for that next step? So, and you need to do a toolkit for that, your readiness for the next step of taking real equity investment, not friends and family time.
Family.
I'm talking about those that are structured, that have to be represented in your books. You have to go to the CAC, you have to register them, you have to sign shareholder agreement, you have to sign investor agreement, you have to make a certain commitment, a covenant to deliver on certain expectations. So first is, are you going? You have to ask yourself, are you ready for that step? Are you trained for that step? Are you a CEO or just a business owner? Because you need to transit from just being an entrepreneur at that point to becoming a CEO. So are you an entrepreneur just wanting to be a business owner, or are you a chief executive? Do you have the capability? So if you have not trained yourself to become a chief executive or a managing director, you are not ready. Because the kind of conversation you'll be having, like when I'm having conversations with the people who have had investment have invested in their business, some of them, there were two ladies that came and I said, do you really want me in this business? Because our relationship will change. So I said, the way I treat you now, when you come for advice, is different from when I invest in your business. So I won't be your friend anymore. I'm going to be asking you tough questions. So are you ready to take those in? And I mentioned, I said, sometimes I finish with some of the people and they struggle. Some of them, I've had one CEO shed tears in my office because nothing, just ask questions that are tough. Yes, because the business was going to die. And I told her, this business will die except you do this, and I have investment in it. So, and that means if it dies, you don't have a job. So I said, you either be ready for this or you just forget about it. So she got home that she cried and cried and cried, and then she called me the next day. I think she realized that this is the truth. I said, so I asked each person now that comes, I say, are you ready for this level? So I always train them to say, first attain the status of being a CEO, acquire the capability to be a CEO, not a business owner. So when you have at least trained yourself with minimal capability to be a CEO, you cannot be, there are many things we can say, but I can't spend time on that, maybe on individual counseling. So you take you through that transition from being a business owner to a CEO. That's very important for you to start thinking about acquiring equity into your business from other investors. Secondly, because that means that business will then have a board. Are you ready for that? To report. Now you that you used to call the shots, you have to now report to a group of people who are going to demand performance from you, who have the capability to sack you if you are underperforming, who have the capability to check your performance, who you must respond to at every point in time when they ask questions. So I'm not going to say, oh, after all, I'm the owner of the business. No, it's not going to happen. So that is why a lot of young people or entrepreneurs are afraid, because they haven't taken that training. So you need to be ready for that, because everybody that will bring cash into your business, they've worked for that value and they demand value from you as well. So you need to be able to respond to them. So if you have taken that training, then you are set. If you haven't taken that training, you are not set for equity injection in your business. You will always have a crisis in your hand if you are not ready for that. Now, going to the process of, getting investment into that business, when you have ascertained to yourself that you are ready, is one, what is the value of your business? Do you have a sense of valuation? Do you even produce an annual account? Do you even produce a management account on monthly basis, quarterly basis? So those are the trainings you have to put yourself through, so that when people ask you, okay, we want to talk about your business, then you can understand how to hold a conversation. How many of you understand the finance and the economics guiding your business? Many entrepreneurs know the technical, operational aspect, but the finance and the economics that govern the business that they run, they don't know. How many of you understand how to read numbers? Because you need to, as a CEO, you need to then understand, as part of your training, to be able to read numbers. What does it mean when you talk about total assets? Your liability, your cash flow, your cash conversion cycle, your receivables, your prepayment cycle, your receivable cycles, and all the likes like that. And then, of course, all the return ratios. You need to understand all that. And then finally, you need to understand valuation in basic terms. So you need to train yourself, and it's part of your training of assuming the capability of or the status of a CEO. And those are the things that really prepare you for equity investment. Because when people ask you these tough questions and you can't answer them, even when you have a great business, two things will happen. They either take over that from you and then you undersell your business, or you have a bloated expectation and they cut you off. So that's why you need that knowledge.
Interesting. So two things I take from what you've said that I think some entrepreneurs might be afraid of. So the question is, do you think we entrepreneurs or small businesses, in order to grow, must actually go through equity routes? I mean, you have experience in commercial banking, you do equity investment, you've gone through mentoring, coaching, consulting, the practical, running your own business, investing in others. So the people that have usually taken that leap, is it because they took equity investment, or they could have grown organically with other sources of funds? Does equity have a way of fast tracking growth, or must we all go, or we don't really have to care about equity? That's number one. Number two, shocking to say that they can tell me to lose my business, so they can sack me when they say I am not performing, because they will now set what performance means to them. Meaning that a lot of people go into entrepreneurship because they said they want their flexibility. But again, you've made us to understand that it depends on how big your dream is. So for me to have a big dream, can I still enjoy my flexibility even when I have equity investors in my business? Right. So let's start with those two.
Well, thank you very much. You see, there is no money that cannot give you growth, whether it's hard money or soft money.
You may want to
It
tell us
depends on
soft
what
and
margin
hard.
your business is able to deliver.
Which one is hard? Which one is soft?
Okay, hard money is money that maybe the pricing is expensive. There are hard monies out there that will tell you pay 25% per annum, 10% per month,
A month.
15% per month, 20% per month. And there are people taking it and they are doing good business. There are those. It depends on the kind of margin your business gives you.
Which one is soft?
Because there are businesses that still yield to the owners 40% in a month, and they are willing to take any, and they want to just grow like that. That's fine. What equity does is, it's not just what people make mistake about equity. It's not just the money. Equity is really not just about the money. It's about the network of quality actors that it brings behind your business. So it brings certain profile that you don't have into your business. Certain knowledge that you don't have comes into your business. Certain reach that even if you have all the access to money, you won't get. It brings that into your business. So it is the idea, the visibility, the attraction, the participation, the knowledge, the network of people that you can ride on, whose shoulders you can ride on to build your business better, aside the cash that they are bringing in. Now, let me tell you something. If you have equity investment without those, it's really a waste of, you haven't really secured equity investment. It should come with that value. Because a lot of businesses with equity investment still fail. There are many businesses that have attracted equity and still fail because they didn't get those other part of benefits that should come with that equity investment. So it's good that you understand equity. When you are going for equity, it's not just about the cash, but what is the what other value these guys that are coming in will bring into your business. What other connection, what other opportunities, what other possibilities will your business gain in terms of mileage apart from the cash? Those are very crucial things. That is important. So it's very important you get that. But what equity can do for you, I mean, equity can build you a factory. It can help you to buy the machines, but it cannot do certain things for you. It may not be able to widen your network of sales. So you might need those board members who have come to invest, who can give you the introduction because they have now invested to scale certain all those. You couldn't have, you cannot throw away. So I think that's where I will leave that. So you need to prepare for that. So it's not just about the cash that people are bringing to you.
To the table. So the other question I now asked is, can I still enjoy, I mean, people want to enjoy their flexibility. They want to be able to do whatever they like at whatever time. They like control and all that. So when people have equity investment, would they still be able to do that? That may be one of the fears of those people, because they will now be reporting to some people. You have to come to work every day. You can't, like, I've carried my bag now, I'm somewhere in transit, you know. Would they have those flexibilities and opportunities also?
There is no limitation to flexibility. It is about your capacity to deliver on the promise and the expectation of your investors that is most crucial to them. So if you know that you can sleep on your bed and still give them the return you have agreed, then that's fine. Continue to sleep. If you know that you are going to go to Miami and be on the beach side and be enjoying, you know, breakfast served to you by the beach, lunch served to you, and then you go shopping and you still deliver the numbers, that's fine. Nobody's going to kill you.
Okay, great.
As long as you are meeting the performance expectation and the numbers are adding up. Great. So there is no, so you need to be able to, that's why I say you must be prepared for that role. You see, the flexibility you enjoy, like you don't want to go to work, it's your money at that point. You may choose not to go to work. But when you know that you have expectations and people have invested in your business, you won't do the same way. But of course, you're now contracted. You're not just an investor anymore, you're a contractor now. They've given you a contract, you now have an employment letter. Before, you didn't have an employment letter because you determine everything. Now you have an employment letter. Now your revenue will be determined. Before, you can spend anywhere, anyhow. Now what you can spend is determined. There is control to the business. All that will be there. But if you are not ready for those things, it's just like saying that you want to get married, but you still want to have a boyfriend or a girlfriend. You want to, I mean, you know, it's going to eventually, one day it will beam around.
Interesting. So,
like they are doing now.
They do what?
And if you are safe, if you are, I mean, just something has to give.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree. So you made a very important point. You said something about, and I'll take it back, that when you are looking for equity investment, it's not just money you should be going for. So if I have to draw a checklist, I know we can't have a detailed discussion around it now. So you've laid the foundation. I really wanted to talk about equity investment because I know that with equity investment, you can actually pivot. You can have a fast growth because you're actually leveraging on other people's money, other people's knowledge, other people's network. Because if I go to the bank, it's the bank's money. And, you know, we have a lot of talks around bank's money. That's why I don't want to talk just about banking money today. I really wanted to talk about equity because when I looked at that NBS Medan report also, others' money is almost non-existent. Most of the money is from the bank, even though access to that credit was even very difficult and low. But other sources of money is almost non-existent. I'm like, so why are people not getting this money? Is it that they don't like it? Is it that they don't understand it? Maybe money is like equity. Is it that they don't even know that we can even put a little portion of the shareholding? You don't have to actually release control. You know, I can actually sell maybe 5% of my business and still have my control. But at least I will leverage on what I will not get from only the bank. So it's not until someone takes over 50% of my business with 95%, with 90%, with 80. But again, the question is, what is the value of 1%? What's the value of 0% of 100? Okay, when I can enjoy 1% of 100%, 0%. What's the value of holding 100% of a business that is not doing very well? That you are sweating for 10 years, you are the only man in the business. What's the value of that kind of business, for example? So let's go back. So if I have to draw equity checklists, what should I be looking for? What should I put as a small business that wants to grow? And I say I want to go and talk to an equity. What would be my simple checklist? You know.
All right. Thank you very much. Very simple.
And who should I be looking for? How do I identify who I should talk to? You know, because you said it's not only money we should be looking for.
Yeah. So the first thing, thank you. The first thing you want to do is this. You must be able to put that business. Why? When you go to buy anything, you have something in mind. So when you want to buy something, you already program it in your mind. So I'm going to buy this. So you go there, you want to buy a car, you program it in your mind. So you program your business for sale. At least, whether it's 1% or 5%, program it for sale. And so prepare it in such a way that when it's to be sold and you sell it to do a self-sell. And be sincere with yourself that this self-selling you are doing, will you buy it if you are the one? If somebody came to sell it to you that way. So do a self-sell test. So when you package that business, you finish everything, sell it to yourself the way you would have sold somebody. So ask yourself, would I buy this thing if somebody came to sell it to me this way? If you pass that test, get 2-3 friends of yours who can be mean and tell you the truth. Sell it to them. And they tell you this is fantastic, then you started your journey. So in terms of what it is to put together for your package, is first to be able to make the business idea simple to understand. Introduce the business. Introduce the economics that govern the market. For example, whatever you are selling, what is the market size? Who are your competition? Why is it that you are able to participate in that market and do better than the competition? Or what is it that you are bringing that will make you better so that you can attract the investment? So you need to be able to justify all this. What is the buyer universe? It's not, nobody wants to invest in a business that the buyer universe is disappearing. If the buyer universe of your business is disappearing, nobody wants to buy and to invest into it. But if your buyer universe is growing, everybody wants to invest. Or if your buyer universe is choked by competition, so with many offers and you cannot meet up, so you need to be able to understand. So once you understand the economics of that business, you know the technical aspect, you understand the economics governing the business, and you understand the sales, and you can deliver numbers. So you put the numbers, and when you do all this, you must finish it with numbers. The total asset, the statement of income, the cash flow, the various other ratios that shows that when people look at this thing, it's attractive. And this can be done in 5 slides, 5 to 7 slides.
So what kind of people should I look for? Because I also don't want people.
Okay, so the next step is once you have this.
Some people are shocked, and people are afraid that like you said, some people really can take over your business. Okay, go ahead.
You see, why somebody will be a shark to you, it will not be a shark to another person. First is, if you don't know what you are selling, anybody will be a shark. Anybody can be a shark. So first, understand what you are selling. Because when the shark comes to you, it will test you. So if you don't know what you are selling, the shark will eat you, definitely. But if you know and you can sell the value and say, look, this is what my value is. I can deliver this return like this. And the person can see it. They start to suspect that. But the good thing, like I said, is look for people with aligned future and current values. What are your own values? What
Interesting.
culture are you setting up for that business? What kind of culture do you want to build into that business? Look for people who have the same horizon and
How do we?
cultural view. Sorry?
Culture. So that means we need to do a background check on even people
Yes, you
that we
must.
are
I mean,
targeting.
you must even do that, because in terms of ethics, in terms of expectation, in terms of the kind of network that they keep, in terms of what value they can bring into the business apart from the cash, you must ask all these questions.
And what's the
Are they
place
the
of
aggressive
consultant?
type? Are they the
Yeah.
conservative type? Are they the balanced type? How are they going to treat you in the board meeting? Because
Okay.
there are
Can
some people
I?
in the board meeting that will tell you are foolish. And there are some people that will tell you, oh, that's not so brilliant. I mean, these are the same, that these words are used are the same thing. Somebody, oh, that's not very brilliant. The other person tell you this is very foolish.
Okay.
They
So
are the same
I
thing. They
my
mean the same thing.
yeah. No. So nobody should even be telling us whether we are stupid
Yeah,
or
there are people
brilliant
that
at
tell
board
you, and
meeting.
even in big corporation in this country, there are places they tell you
But
that.
yeah, so I also believe that it's okay for you to even have an exit plan for investors at some point, because I know
Correct.
there are different types of investment mix. So you can actually have an exit plan for them. But really, if they can help your business to grow, why do you want to exit people? But if you want to test the marriage, I think from the onset you can actually have a plan such that they can decide to exit at that point. And if you think the marriage can continue, just like divorce, you can decide that I'm not doing again. And you can stay with
Well,
someone forever and die with the person.
you
Are
can't do
there
it like
options
that,
for that?
unfortunately.
Are there options like
Unfortunately,
that?
it's not as easy, because all these things have to do with agreement. Now, you see, there is
Yes.
let me just introduce this. I won't talk too much about it today. There is an opportunity in Nigeria that all entrepreneurs and business owners have allowed to sleep
What's
off them.
that? We're interested.
So it's the Nigeria Stock Exchange. You remember back in the days, we used to have the secondary, the what we call the
Secondary market.
the alternative exchange, the exchange where you have small businesses. We used to have it. SMEs used to get listed there. That market is dead.
So what happened? How do we revive that kind
It
of
died
market?
because SMEs don't that is part of the knowledge. So small businesses have to work back themselves into this new line, so that the second tier, we used to call them second tier exchange. Yes. They
So
used
how,
to be for small businesses
so
who
is
are
it
like
still in
being prepared to come
existence?
to the main exchange.
Is it still in
But that
existence?
second tier exchange have since died, because we
So
are not producing quality SMEs in Nigeria. I'm sorry. And that is what I'm saying today. It is that most of the CEOs of the SMEs, most of the business owners of SMEs are not priming themselves to be CEOs. And when you don't prime yourself to become CEO, you cannot go and be listing on exchange, because the demand is the same. You are going to come to the floor of the exchange to render your account, to deliver your report, to send in your report regularly, to defend the numbers. They are going to ask you questions. And then banks can trust you more to give you money. Investors can come there to give you money. So that
thank
market
you.
is dead, but we can create a hub that will re-engage that will initiate that market by
Awesome.
helping bringing back SMEs into a cluster system and prepare them and mentor them for that level of opportunity.
So, Dr. Shagun, we need to wrap up now. So, just to wrap
I'm
up,
ready
there are
to
different kind
wrap
of
up.
funds. So, just to, thank you for this insight, and for all the people that are listening. So, Dr. Shagun and Leopold are working on something. So, he's trying to let out the cats in a simple way. So we are trying to look at this part of the market where MSMEs can actually access funding. So this cluster system is something we are looking at, tweaking. And so if you're actually interested, you can actually chat me up. You can send me a message. There are a couple of things we are looking at, and it's been insightful this month that we've been talking. I've heard a lot of people come up with a couple of suggestions that has to do with cluster things around access to legal services in a cluster, funding, equity. So in wrapping up, what I want you to say is just give us a general list of fundings that MSME can access, and tell us the advantages of equity. I know you've said it in a way. I know what equity also brings to the table, apart from funding, is that you don't have to pay back immediately. It's a long-term money that you can work for. You're not under pressure, at that point in time. It helps you to relax and settle in growing the business. So just tell us a general overview of money and why people should not be afraid of equity investments.
Well, like you have said, there are so many types of funding, from debt to equity, and different variants of debt, different variants of equity. There is even bond opportunities. If you get listed on stock exchange, or even second tier, you can issue bond now, guaranteed bond. Those opportunities are massive. So let's leave that there. So for me, I think there is not to be afraid of when you have good business, but you need professionals to guide you. That's all. I mean, at the end of the day, you need good mentors who are genuine, professionals who have been hands-on. You see, I have worked in Accenture and Deloitte, and I see that most times, most consultants are not genuine because they don't understand it, and that's the best they can do. But there are a lot of us that have gone through that and have also practiced it, and are involved in it. So I am on the advisory side. I am an investor. I am a coach. I'm a mentor. I'm doing everything. So I acquire daily lessons. Just that I haven't had the time to put them down in books.
We are writing
so one
that
day I
book
believe
now.
I'll be able to.
Which
So,
one
but,
day?
I mean, you just need that person that can handhold. You need
we
an
already have a
handholder,
target.
somebody that can handhold
No.
you in the journey. That's all
Yeah,
you need.
we
Once
already
you
have
find
a
a
target
great
for
guy
that.
that can handhold you in the journey, you'll be fine. I will
Yeah.
close on that note. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So, very right on there. Most are not developing company for investors to buy. The Nigerian factor is also a reason. Well, for don't want to grow beyond MSME, they will grow beyond MSME. There's a second tier market for
Nigerian factor has
MSME.
nothing to do with that,
Yes, my sentiment also. So I think this is very insightful, but we have to wrap up here. Thank you, everyone. If you want more information, if you are interested in, we have some investment opportunities for equity investment. If you think you want to go through the process, you can also reach out to me. Okay. And right now we have some monies on the table. So thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful evening, and I wish you get the money
Thank
that
you.
is on the table. Thank you, Dr. Shegun. Bye, everyone. Yeah. Yes, I'm ending the broadcast now.